Welcome to 75 Stories, a podcast created to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Normandale Lutheran Church in Edina, Minnesota.
My name is Linda Van Gilder, and what brought me to Normandale Lutheran Church, almost 30 years ago, is I was church shopping, and I guess this goes all the way back to Pastor Home. And I attended one day, and Pastor Home said, "I'm tired of people church shopping, and I wish more people would think about, instead of a church that is going to do something for them, what can you do for the church?" And that right away, I felt convicted, and I'm like, ooh, I like that. And I like being challenged. And that was also right around the time that the Normandale House program was starting. And that also got my interest. And then my husband ended up joining, probably maybe 12 or 14 years later. When he moved to the Twin Cities, we had a long-distance relationship for all that time. So he had visited Normandale, and it was a given. He knew how much I loved it. And it was a given that he was interested in joining as well. So what keeps us here is, sometimes I say it's just a feeling. When you're house hunting, you just walk into a house and you just have that feeling, you just know. That's a big part of it. There's just something about the energy, the vibe, and then, of course, the things that we've gotten involved with have been so enriching for us, and so the programs keep us coming back. I initially got involved with the Racial Justice and Equity team, I guess, in a way before it even started. Like so many people in 2020, when the killing of George Floyd happened, Normandale responded right away with a book study that I got involved with, White Supremacy and Me. And again, I felt convicted about my complicity in racism. I really had not ever given it much thought. But having the opportunity to spend more time thinking about it, I had recently retired, so I think that also played a part of my involvement, being able to do a book study like that during the day. And I just knew that a big question for all of us, there were so many of us who have lived with white advantage. It's one thing to learn about it and understand it, and then the question becomes, well, what do you do with it? I believe that the work that Normandale is doing with a team like RJET and my role in it, why it is so important for me personally is that I remember early on we were encouraged to write down why we cared. Why do we care about racial justice and equity? Because it wasn't anything that I had thought about before. I gave a lot of thought to that, and I feel like it's an expression of my love for God. It's as simple as that. Whenever I was thinking about, this is hard. It's not a topic. I've got a great group of longtime girlfriends. They're the best. I love them. It's not anything that they're interested in. My family, my immediate family, again, they're wonderful people, not anything that they're interested in. My husband is interested in it and is a wonderful support. But sometimes it would feel like lonely work. And sometimes I would think, okay, I've done this. I'm retired. This isn't as fun, maybe, as, some other people, what they do in retirement. But anytime I ever thought about not continuing this work and helping to support this program at Normandale, I always hear God in my ear, and it's God. And I've been a person of faith my whole life, but I have really felt a closeness in my relationship with God in a way, doing this work and thinking about it, that I have never felt in my faith before. And this is why I really want to help bring this to other people. It's not about guilt. I just feel like if people could experience the faith and growth and the love and just this feeling that you get inside we all know that we have those moments with God when we just feel God's love and trust and all is right in the world. And it allows me to have that, and I would love for other people to experience that as well. My hopes for Normandale in the future in terms of mission and outreach is that the commitment to mission and outreach that Normandale has demonstrated since I've been a part of it remains as strong as ever and involves our youth. And when I think specifically about the racial justice and equity effort, my hope for that is, if anything, I've already talked about what I hope for people that can kind of gain a fresh understanding or a new understanding like I did, even if not, that RJET has created an environment where it's safe, where everybody, regardless of how they feel about racial justice and equity, that they can express their views and be respected. There's so much division in our world right now. At the very least, if people can say, you know what, I don't agree with it, I don't think there is systemic racism, I don't share those feelings, but you know what? I think they did a pretty good job of bringing us together and letting us all feel safe to express our views no matter how we felt. Because I think that as I think about the future of Normandale and I think about the future of our country, and we have to all come together again at that point. So for me, that would be a huge win. If there's one more thing that I could say about Normandale's effort with RJET, Racial Justice and Equity Team, I want to make a sincere plea for people to not think about it as being a political issue, but to think about it in terms of God's word for us. And think about what Jesus did and the message of Jesus. And when we take the politics out of it, which none of us think about it in terms of politics, it really is something that is motivated by our faith. And it's so difficult in this world. Everything has become so political, but I just wish people would think about it and stop and think about God's word when it comes to racial justice and equity. And I think that would be really helpful for everyone.
We are so glad you joined us today here at 75 Stories. If you'd like to share your own story, please contact Christy Shepard at kshepard@normluth.org. Join us next week for another story, and share this podcast with your friends and family. We are all part of the Normandale community.